All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So this is the final part of a five-part series on designing a life you love. Let me get some water so we can get into it. Let me warn you guys right now that I didn't really prepare notes for this. Kind of was like, oh, am I going to go on? Nobody's watching, which is not my motivation, to be honest. But I made a commitment that I was going to do this. It's taken a long time for me to start doing lives again. And so it doesn't really matter if you're here or not. The most important thing is for me to get this information out there and start sharing. And I love this first series because I take my life very seriously, as should you. Because guess what? You only get this one. And if you're not responsible for you, why would anybody else be? Why should anybody else be? You own your life, it's yours. And I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out. I think that as women, we are taught to be excessively unselfish. We put ourselves last all of the time. Nobody, and if you put yourself last, everyone else will see that. And guess what? They're not going to say, oh, honey, put yourself first. They're going to be like, okay, and pile on to you putting yourself last. And so I think that it takes a lot of relearning and reparenting to learn how to put ourselves first, to learn that it's not selfish to put yourself first. It's self-full. It's not just a meme. You can share memes and videos all day long, honey, but until you practice it in your own life, you're going to be spinning. It's just talk, but you're not actually receiving the benefits that come from putting yourself first. So, I don't think we'll be here long because I don't have detailed notes on this. And this is also part of the topic for tonight, is also part of what I've referenced in previous weeks. But first, let's do a recap. I want to encourage you to go back on my Facebook page or YouTube page, both under Coach Cara, and check out the other weeks. I've already told y'all that week 3 is my favorite, and I actually need to go into my channel and edit these with the week numbers to help you out. But week 1, we talked about your new life costing you your old. That requires you to sit with it, because if you think about creating and designing a life for yourself, there's some things that are going to have to go. There's some people that aren't going to be happy. I love the quote that says the only people upset about your boundaries are the people who benefited from you not having any. That can be people that you live with, that can be friends, family. There are all kinds of reasons why some people won't be thrilled with the changes that you're making. And you really need to sit with it yourself so that you can be prepared as much as you can for the blowback that's most definitely going to come. Okay. I don't know if I'm looking up here, the camera. I think so. Okay. Anyway, week 2, we did some visualization work. There was some breath work involved that week. And I encouraged you to really think about what you want your life to look like, your dream life. Really sit with it, close your eyes, and envision yourself on that beach. I know a lot of y'all love the beach, or in a new location, or in a new relationship, or in a place of just freedom. What does that look like for you? And I'm slowing down with that because I'm a person who rushes. Okay, give me the information, and then I'm on to the next thing. But that's not how visualization works. In order for you to do it well, you really have to just sit there and think about it, man. Sit there and think about it. Write down what it looks like. You could do much more work on that just on your own. If you write it down, you look at it, you think about it, and you feel feelings of fear or uncertainty or indecision, that means there's more for you to think about. And I know a lot of women who take absolutely no time to think about themselves. Or if they do, the fear comes in and immediately crowds out the work that they're supposed to be doing around creating that future for themselves. And so don't be afraid to sit with it. There's really no rush. And who knows how long it could take you to get to a place where you have clarity, certainty, and everything around your next move. Week 3, we talked about self forgiveness and conquering fears, which really could have been two separate conversations. And in that week, I shared some resources for you guys, did a whole screen share, which I plan to do more of those because I love them. I present in corporate America all the time on the most boring topics. And so I really want to start developing some content and visual aids so that it's not just me talking, but there's something there for you to do as well. And you can come on Wednesday nights with a notepad or maybe a notebook that you dedicate to all different types of personal development modalities and tools and information. What I want you to know is you listening, you writing it down, you thinking, it's all going in there. It's all going in there. It may take time for you to see the effects in your life, but just absorbing the information over time, you'll be surprised how it shows up in your life when you're moving in real life situations. Because it's one thing to talk about boundaries. It's one thing to talk about conquering fears. And it's an entirely different thing to actually put that boundary in place, hold that boundary in place, and stick to it. And there will be moments where you'll fail and you're not going to beat yourself up. You're going to say, oh, I learned a lesson. When this happens, I'm triggered in this way and I respond like this. So the next time a situation like this shows up, I will stick to what I said I was going to do. That's hard. What a lot of people do, just like with a diet or anything else, they make a misstep and they say, oh, well, I tried. No, that's not how you design a life that you love. You design a life that you love by looking at the lesson, observing what happened, and making a decision to do it differently again, not by quitting. Okay. And then last week, we talked about self-awareness. You cannot get to a life that you love if you don't really know who you are. You're not being honest with yourself about who you are. You're not being authentic, at least when you're alone. Can you just do it when you're by yourself? But also I shared that you may want to ask other people how they perceive you, how they come across. And then also to avoid falling into or deeper into any type of approval addiction, you'll want to have sort of a trusted council of people. Like, who do you trust? Who has permission to get you together? Okay. Who do you trust? So that when they give you the feedback about yourself, you don't get as defensive, or perhaps not even defensive at all. When things show up, you're able to say, ooh, I didn't know that I was that way. And then you can decide whether or not you want to change it, or if you want to, and say, well, this is who I am, because you get to choose, right? And that's really what all of this is about. You get to choose. Yes, this is your life, and you get to choose what it looks like, who's in it, where you are, who's around. You are an adult. I just need to say that. You're an adult. And the thing is, we focus so much on the aspects of adulting that don't bring us joy. Like I waited a long time to be grown, but I wasn't thinking about the fact that when you're a kid, you're excited to see your name on something in the mailbox. When you're an adult, you're like, it's a bill, it's this, it's that. But there's so much in your life that you can control in order to bring you more joy than stress. Okay. And that starts with knowing that you are, in fact, in control. Even if you're not taking control, you have control that you may not be exercising. All right. So with that out of the way, tonight's topic is called Mind Your Business. Mind your business. Yes. Now, men may relate to some of the things that I share here, I'm sure. And I know like a smidgen of men who are the doers and do all the things and don't take care of themselves and all that. So this would be for you as well. But I find that many more women tend to be the sacrificial lamb because we are raised to do that. We are not raised to really take care of ourselves. And what we're seeing now is this pendulum swinging to this other direction as women saw their grandmothers and mothers like slaving over everybody and all that, and just say, I'm not doing that. And some of us, sometimes people do, well, I can't say they get too selfish because that's their choice, and it may not feel selfish for them, or it may just be for a season. But I do feel that a lot of women my age, we gave our lives. I know I gave 30 years to taking care of everyone else except myself. I definitely put myself last. Now, in my mind, I thought that all of these people that I was dying on the cross for every single day were going to eventually start doing for me. But I've learned that that's not necessarily true. Well, I want to say that's not true most of the time. If they've never done it and it's never happened, and by never, I mean like you're 5 years in, okay, and it's not happening, that is a never to me. Because why would the person pivot and change course when the groundwork has already been laid and you've already accepted how you're treated, right? Now you probably, a lot of you are nagging about it all the time, but he can't just wake up and be different than what you already tolerated. Take a breath on that because I feel like that could be a whole nother topic. But here's what I'm talking about when I say mind your business. I have some friends, and I myself was one of these people who are addicted to helping other people. Addicted to helping other people, addicted to deflecting attention away from themselves. And I'm not talking about any one person, in case you're listening. It's a systemic problem. There's a pandemic going on among women who are addicted to minding the shore of everyone else, whether it's their adult children, they're still helicopter parenting, whether it is a partner, any other relative. I know some people doing this with their elderly parents, but the biggest offender I found is with the adult children, and maybe sometimes a partner, and even close friends. As an example, I had a friend who every time she would call me, all she wanted to talk about was me. What's going on with you, Cara? What are you doing? What's happening? Whatever. And I thought it was so thoughtful, right? And then over time, I realized that the reason why she was always asking about me is because she didn't want to talk about her stuff. Okay. She was trying to avoid the things that needed to be fixed in her life. And that's it. The life could be over. Minding your business means that instead of tending to everyone else and what they're doing and what they need to fix and tweak and whatever, you go within. You look at yourself. Ooh, what needs to be fixed in my own life? Is it my health, my wealth? Is it my spirituality? Is it my inability to connect with other people or with a partner or what are the things that are happening in here? And when you're not focused in here, you can't design a life that you love. But what you may do, which is also not the best, is seek externally for other people to help you create a life that you love. But it's an inside job. It's your business. It's your responsibility to create the life that you want for yourself. I can remember in my marriage that there were times where I just would just I was a real nag, because I was so tired of not getting certain needs met. And I kept thinking, I'm going to tell him and he's going to do it. I had a very naive relationship mindset for my entire adult life until maybe like 2 years ago. I'm going to tell my partner, these are the things that I need and require. And if he loves me, he's going to do these things. And it wasn't happening. And so at some point I decided I'm not nagging about this anymore, and I don't want to leave. And so I just started making myself happy. I started taking myself on dates. I started taking myself to restaurants I wanted to try or activities I wanted to do, which then led to me solo traveling and all these things. And that did help me a lot. But that was just a start, minding your own business also requires you, and this is, I don't know if it's if I think it's the hardest part. It requires you to let other people just do whatever they want. I may have mentioned this in one of the other episodes in this series, but Mel Robbins has this principle that also a friend of mine, he coined it first and didn't get paid for it. Shout out to Charles. Let people do what they want. That's how you know who they are. Let people be who they are. That's how you know what they really want. And then you just make your decisions accordingly. Now, that doesn't mean that you cut people off just because this is how you're going to be. I'm cutting you off. No, you have a conversation about it. Yes. But people really are who they are. And once they show you who they are, what matters to them, et cetera, instead of you spending all this energy trying to get these other people to change, this is where you need to go and ask yourself questions around how you want them in your life and what role they serve. Because you may decide that you want to continue that interaction, but frame it differently in your mind. Change your hopes and expectations and all of that. Because hoping in other people can only go but so far. One of the things that I love about my shifts in spirituality, which I may or may not, I may talk about at some point in the future, is that we are never encouraged to focus on other people in any way, shape, or form. And that is so counter to how I was raised as a Christian and everything else. Most of the energy is spent on your brethren. Most of the energy is spent on the beam, the stick in somebody else's eye. Even though they read the scripture saying, look at the beam in your own eye, that's not what most people are doing. Most of them are seeking to serve, to change other people, whether it's loud on Facebook or in individual conversations, and they're not spending enough time in here minding their own business, because that's work. It's easier for me to tell you what to do. It's easier for me to tell you to eat a salad every day than it is for me to do it myself. And then, especially, if I'm already eating a salad every day, but I'm eating some Chips Ahoy after that, I didn't tell you that part, then I'm like, at least I'm having a salad every day. And then we turn and judge people who aren't doing maybe the one thing that we did overcome, instead of going back in here. Okay, now I'm having a salad every day. My next move is, how can I stop eating the Chips Ahoy after that? And so your responsibility in creating a life you love has nothing to do with what other people are doing around you. It does not. Am I saying you can't pray for those people or keep them in thoughts and prayers? No, I'm not. But you can't make another person be any different than how they are. They have to choose to do that. And so my point is, it is a complete and utter waste of your energy to spend any time on them. Okay. And if there is someone that you have resentment towards because you think they should be, showing up differently for you than they are, I would encourage you to go back to week 3, because in that week, I gave a link to a worksheet called Self Forgiveness. And you're going to forgive yourself for your hopes and expectations around this other person and something that you couldn't control. Working through that exercise is going to help you release them from the hopes and expectations in your mind, and it will shift the relationship where it needs to be. But you have to do that work, okay? You can set things up. You can engineer dates for you and your partner. You can engineer dates for yourself. If your friends aren't asking you to go out enough, why don't you organize an event and say, hey, everybody, let's go do this, instead of moping that no one ever invites you to anything? Plan an event, invite people to go with you. Be proactive, take control of your own life and mind your business. That's so important. And that's what I've been heavily focused on for the past 2 years, but especially this year. I'm all up in my own business. Every day I wake up and think about, how am I going to love myself today? How am I going to take care of me today? And that's the only way that you're going to get to a life you love. Um, a lot of people don't even know what they actually want. They don't know what they want. They don't know what a life that they love looks like. Or the change is so drastic that, again, that fear comes in. There's big decisions that have to be made, and people can stay frozen right there for years, decades even. And then you get to a certain age and you end up with all of these regrets that are unnecessary. And even when we think of the regrets, people keep tying them to other folks and what they did or didn't do. But you're accountable for your life, and you're responsible for the life that you have and what's in it and what's not in it. It's all you. And it starts right here, right? So as you do the visualizations, then you can think about what's realistic. And by realistic, I mean your human effort with some divine effort in there. It's not all you, but it does need to be something that is a bit of a stretch goal, right? And so that's really all that I have for you guys tonight. Mind your business, mind your own business. Focus on the areas of your life, and you'll be busy all day long. I think, let me see if I can find it in time. There, there is a devotional by Oswald Chambers. Here it is. Look at that. Google knew what I wanted. Let me see here. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is a good one. I read this maybe 10 years ago or so, because for me, this has been a long time coming. And now I'm going to have to put these glasses on so I can share this with you. And actually, I may see, Can I pull it up on the screen? Because I know some of us are visual people. Okay, now where did my tab go? Let me find it. I'll go here. Yep. And this is called, now my mouse wants to go out of me. Oswald Chambers. I'm going to type on judging others. Oswald Chambers on judging others. If you Google that, it's the devotional called Beware of Criticizing Others. And I'm going to screen share this with you as we close this out. Here we go. Ooh. I hope this is coming through big enough. Check the screen share on that. Yes, I think you should be able to see that. So this is June 17th. I encourage you to order this book. I need a fresh copy myself. Judge not that ye be not judged. Matthew 7:1. Jesus' instructions with regard to judging others is very simply put, don't do it. The average Christian is the most piercingly critical individual known. Criticism is one of the ordinary activities of people, but in the spiritual realm, nothing is accomplished by it. The effect of criticism is the dividing up of the strengths of the one being criticized. This is important. Don't miss this line. The Holy Spirit is the only one in the proper position to criticize. And he alone, listen, help them to listen to this. He alone is able to show what is wrong without hurting and wounding. You will have a very hard time giving someone else information on what they need to be doing with themselves and do it without them feeling attacked, shutting down, getting defensive, etc. And you hurt your own ability to enter into fellowship with God when you're in a critical mood. This was me all day. I wish I kept a journal. That where I could show you the proof of when I read this, because I knew this was me. I was critical. I had a harsh tongue. Something was always wrong, and I was going to tell you about it. Criticism serves to make you harsh, vindictive, and cruel. And listen to this. I wish I could blow this up bigger. Criticism leaves you with the soothing and flattering idea that you are somehow superior to others. Because if I say you wrong for something, that means that I must think I've conquered that thing and I'm doing that thing better. Otherwise, why am I saying it to you? And guess what? Even if I am right and my credit score is better than yours and I've made better financial decisions, there's another area of my life, baby, that's a hot mess. And I don't want you to see that. And that's one of the reasons why I keep talking about your financial management, because I don't want you over here in my business with things I'm doing that I don't want anybody to know. And I have myself rarely met someone who's very open and honest about their own failings. The same person who's constantly telling other people what to do won't always be transparent and authentic with what their struggles are. Okay. And so let me see. Never cultivate a temperament that is critical. Right. I love this last part. There's no escaping the penetrating search of my life by Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, creator, source, whatever it is that you believe in. There's no escaping that penetrating search. So even if other people don't see it, the creator always knows. If I see this little speck in your eye, it means I have a plank of timber in my own. Every wrong thing I see in you, God finds in me. That's why you're seeing it in them, because there's something in you. I have an example. I'm not going to give it, but there's something in you that aligns with that. That's why you're noticing it. And it may be pointing out your own self-worth. That's why you keep seeing it in other people. Oh, she's never on time. Am I on time? Maybe, right? But there's something else that I need to be working on in myself. Every time I judge, I condemn myself. Stop having a measuring stick for other people. There is always at least one more fact which we know nothing about in every person's situation. Mm-mm-mm. I have never met a person I could despair of or lose all hope for after discerning what lies in me apart from the grace of God. What that means is when I look at what I need to be cleaning up over here, all of a sudden I feel empathy for the person that I was criticizing. Yeah. So I'm going to put a link to this in the comments and encourage you to mind your business. What is in your life that needs to be fixed, tweaked, removed, adjusted, eliminated, improved, expanded? Some of you have gifts you're not even using because you're so busy focusing on what everybody else needs to be doing. And that is why you don't have a life that you love. And so, listen, I want to thank you for tuning into this series. If it's been a blessing to you, I really and truly want you to share this video and share the entire series with someone else that you know needs this information. Really encourage you to do that. I thank you for tuning in. And if you have suggestions or other topics that you want to hear about and you actually think I have something to say, please do. Please feel free to tell me and let me know. All right. And thank y'all for that. Thank you for tuning in. I'm about to catch an early bedtime. If you're of age, you know how it goes, honey. After 5, we're ready to shut it down. And that's exactly what I'm getting ready to do. But I thank you. I'll see you next Wednesday, where we'll be starting a new topic for the month of May, and I'll share more information about that then. Bye, everybody.